Hi, my name is Thais Gibson, and I'm the owner and founder of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and this is a channel where we provide personal development tips and tools for your subconscious mind. So today I want to talk a little bit about how to set effective goals towards your purpose for 2019. So I want to, highlight a few key points here first before we get into all of this. The first one is that your purpose in life is not a destination or expectation. I can't tell you how many times I meet with individuals or chat with people and clients and people who come to workshops or classes, and they have such a rigid expectation of where they should be within a really rigid expectation of time. And if that's where you're operating from, you really want to make some adaptation. So your purpose should be like a passionate direction or a really strong intention, not something that's, really rigid in your expectation. So for example, if your, goal for 2019 is to start a business, okay, you don't want to put all of this rigidity around it. The business has to look like this, and this with this many employees at this given time. It's wonderful to be clear and specific. In fact, it's very important to be clear and specific, but there needs to be an equal balance between clarity and specificity and flexibility, because things are just never going to go exactly according to your expectations. And oftentimes I find that people assume failure when things don't go according to that expectation, and they go, oh my gosh, I'm failing at this, and they get discouraged, and they build all kinds of subconscious positive or all kinds of subconscious negative associations to what their purpose or goal was, because things didn't meet the exact expectation, and they make that mean that it's a failure. And more often than not, when things are not going according to our expectations, we really just need to adapt our approach or change our strategies. And it's part of the learning and growth process. So it's really important to be rooted in the intention. I'm going to create a business with this many employees, and this is what I want to do, and I'm going to aim for this given period of time. But if it doesn't happen, I'm okay to be flexible. I'm okay to balance out that clarity with flexibility so I can keep adapting and growing and pivoting. And this is such an important part of success. So take that information for a moment and apply that to your goal. Where are you being inflexible or rigid? Where are you assuming failure? And is it really a failure, or is it actually just a call to create change, to adapt, to pivot a little bit? And try to highlight those given areas. So that was sort of a preface to what we're really going to get into, which is mostly an exercise for today. So we want to take a moment for 2019 and go through not what our overall goal is here, but all the goals that we have or what we want to create in all 7 areas of our lives. Okay, so here's a great exercise to do to sort of get you started here. Number 1, make a column on a sheet of paper that has the 7 areas of life listed down the column. Okay, so the 7 areas of life are career, financial, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and relationships. Okay, and you can sort of make a subcategory. I keep relational last because you can sort of make a subcategory about relationships in terms of romantic relationships, in terms of friendships, in terms of family relationships, coworker relationships. So you sort of want to keep that last so you can spread it out and just flesh it out a little bit if you need to. And then next to that column, okay, to the right of that column, you want to create another column that says limiting beliefs, okay? And you want to look for and take the time to, after you've set your goal, next to that goal, ask yourself, why haven't I achieved these goals yet? Or what am I afraid will happen on the path to achieving these goals? Okay, so why haven't I achieved these goals yet? Or what am I afraid will happen on the path to achieving these goals? And the reason you're asking those 2 questions is not to say, oh, I should have achieved these goals before, or I'm not fast enough, or that's not the intention of that question. The intention of that question is to highlight the places that you were blocked in the past to see if they presently still exist. So we might hear things like, oh, I didn't have enough time. Okay, do I still not have enough time? And this question is really there to highlight those limiting beliefs. And same with the second question there. Okay, so put those questions, you can even put those questions above that column and then sort of go through each of those 7 areas and see what comes up for you in each of those areas to really see clearly what the limitations are that you're carrying at a subconscious level. So you've just made them conscious and now you can work through them. Okay, next to that column, put another column that says blocks or obstacles. Okay, and these might be real tangible things. It might be that you actually don't have enough money yet, or that maybe you want to start the business but you need an extra $50,000 of capital that you just don't have available to you at this time. And so put a column for that, and then go through that column and put next to, like within that sort of same framework, strategies to solve that problem. So just make some jot notes around all the different obstacles that come up and just put a strategy there. It's a solution, and it can be broken down into little actionable steps. And lastly, put one last column that says questioning limiting beliefs. And what I want you to do is take a moment and look at all of those beliefs that you put out, that you were sort of highlighted or magnified in column 2, and ask yourself, are these really valid? Okay, are they absolutely true? And if there's something that's recurring in there, there's probably some work you need to do. So let's say you keep finding in the limiting belief column that you're afraid you'll fail. You think that you might fail. You assume that you'll fail. You'll probably fail because you're not good enough yet. Or, let's say there's a theme. You really want to spend some time on reprogramming that, which means changing your brain, changing your reticular activating system's focus, a mechanism in your brain that is largely responsible for how we filter information. You want to teach your brain or train your brain to really start looking for successes instead of failures. And that might be difficult at first. You might have to really highlight teeny tiny successes. I brushed my teeth this morning. I got out of my bed on my first alarm. I was on time to work. You might want to start with small things. And the idea is that you want to train your brain to start looking for the opposite of what that limiting belief is. And what you're doing in essence is making that belief fully conscious and then taking your conscious effort to equilibrate that belief by consistently and repetitively eliciting an emotional response in opposition to it. Because what a belief really is a thought that's been thought long enough that we feel it with certainty. And so really what we want to do is we want to train our brain to feel the opposite with certainty. And that happens through repetition plus emotion. That's really how we reprogram. So look for any patterns or any belief that really sticks out that's acting as a huge block and start training your brain to look for proof of the opposite. Okay, affirmations are sort of a surface thing. They're not really that effective. Looking for proof and retraining your brain to look for these things, each piece of proof elicits a small emotional response. And so it equilibrates information a lot more quickly when we have previously stored programs. So great exercise to do. I highly recommend you do this so that you're intentional about your 2019. It's so easy to sort of float around or not be that clear and specific, or to be too clear and specific and not be willing to budge or be inflexible. We want to sort of address all these core issues that might be coming up when it comes to setting and achieving our goals. And we especially want to be able to be clear in all 7 areas of life what we want to achieve for this year. Find all of the limiting beliefs that exist and work on equilibrating them, and also find any potential blocks and strategize around them. And this will make us most effective and it will really help us take a lot of our time back. It saves us a lot of energy. So we find by finding these blocks ahead of time. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you received a lot of value from this video. If you did, please like it, share it, subscribe to our channel, and please visit www.personaldevelopment.com for ongoing free worksheets we'll be uploading, blog posts, tools, a toolkit, information. Please touch base there. Thank you so much for watching.